Hi. If you're seeing me, I might have a message for you, especially if you've been avoiding some sort of something that you have a skill in because there's like minutia that you don't want to deal with. I might have a message for you based on all the other cards and everything else I've been dealing with this morning. It feels like you've been letting every other little thing distract you and be like, oh, I have to take care of this. I absolutely have to take care of this. I don't have to do this one little thing. So with this death, the 7 of ducklings on the bottom of the card, you see how those little ducklings are chasing death, and everybody thinks like, oh, they're little ducklings, they can't do anything. And then you have the alley man underneath that, so this is very, very important. These ducklings, so you are putting something in taking on burdens and hyper focusing on the burdens that are being brought to your attention. You are overlooking or discounting information that is, somebody has information for you. Somebody has something you need to learn and you are discounting it with this alley man here and that giant fucking stop sign at the bottom and all these different faces here. Somebody has information that you are discounting that is kind of a stepping stone to your skill, actually. We had Ta come out, which is the consort of Sekhmet. Love him. But then we've got passion underneath that with Bast. We've got, and Bast is a side of Sekhmet. Bast is the calm, not war side. In some tellings. Anyway, we have skill and passion, and then on the other deck that I pulled, we had Page of Wands, and then the Gloaming. So this isn't even the decks that I'm going to use. You need to find passion in learning. You need to find that joy that connects you with whoever you're discounting that has this information that you need. You need to find a connection with them, I think, because we've got Inner Wisdom and Jersey Devil as well here. So I think you know that you need to tackle this, and you need to take care of it. So let's see what the universe has to say. Inner child, you can heal yourself. So it might be just a connection. It might be some sort of experience that you had in the past with something that you enjoyed, and somebody kind of took that joy from you and made it work. And now you have this new thing that you love, and it's kind of turning into work, because there is work ahead of you. 100% there is work ahead of you, especially with Ta's skill. But this is, and Toth wholeness. This is, it says thought on there, which is hilarious. I'm hoping that's a misspelling. And that there's not an Egyptian god I haven't heard about called Thot. Pretty sure it's Toth. Anyway, wholeness. This is something new to you, but you need to let it encompass your being. So Page of Wands is action, moving, doing, because you are so passionate, okay? So with this inner child, you can heal. That might have been like a trauma that you had, or just a shitty past experience with this person that you had. And as I said, that might have been a trauma that you had. The fucking Generations card came out, which is indicative of generational trauma. So this could have, it might heal something, or a chance to heal something that you, or even possibly your parents, kind of suffered through, and they kind of, that bias bled from them to you. And it wasn't that they did it out of anger or hate or anything. It was just that they had this bias because of how they were raised, and they wanted to protect you from it. But it kind of went the other way. You know how like a pendulum will start over here, it'll swing this way, kind of like how society does when they start changing things. It'll swing to one extreme, then back to the other extreme, real slow in succession, but it swings to extremes. And that's what's happening here, I think, is that they were trying to, it was... This came out in reverse, and this is innate knowledge. So this came out in reverse. It was something that they had within them that was just not born in you, but cultivated through you, not out of malice or anything like that. It was just something that they did out of happenstance, because they were scared, because it hurt them very much, and just out of the, I don't want my kid to feel this way because this sucks. I am miserable. And it might have been that they kind of worked in there a certain bias against something. But you need to get past that. So the goal here is healing and change. So there is somebody amateur. So amateur and devotion. And I wanted to flip it like this when it pulled out, so that one is upright and one is always in reverse. So that's, I think, what you need to fix. They're in with Spire right here, just like this. This card, this face up, this is control, and somebody's kind of breaking the system for their gain. But this is a system needs to be broken, it needs to be destroyed, because it is broken and it's not helping anybody. Or it's only helping a select few. But with this amateur and then the devotion card in reverse, you need to find the devotion to that blissful pleasure with Sweet Pea. We've also got pleasure here. Blissful pleasure with Sweet Pea. You need to find what attracted you to that thing, what made you love it, even if you didn't have skill in the first place, and hone in on that. Fuck everything else. It doesn't need to be that you're good, that you look good, that this person hasn't been doing it as long as you. You have to learn. And having that, finding that, rekindling that passion for whatever it is that you're working on is kind of the goal here. It's going to help you kind of see past the walls and filters. I'm getting filters, the walls and filters that you put up. Like, I don't need to listen too much because this person doesn't really know what they're talking about, that kind of thing. But this person, in this case, person or people, do know what they're talking about, and there is something that you can learn from them. So you've got to break down that attitude of, and it might be a tie to an immature thing as well. It might be a childhood thing with your skill, like your parents only said good job when you did something really good. So draw. This is redrawing boundaries. You need to redraw some boundaries for yourself. And you see how I'm mostly drawn to how this thing is kind of part in, part out of these boundaries, but that heart is there. I think it's not going to be perfect, and you're going to make mistakes, and there's going to be something that's like, fuck, why did I do this? But you have to keep going. Just keep that's why you need that passion. That's why you need that push, that drive. That's really going to get you like, okay, and I want to do it. Big fucking deal. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about being seen or heard or congratulated or anything like that. That is something that you have to actively, because this fell right on top of the Generations card in reverse, and this is trapped in a closet. When it's upright, it's that somebody's not feeling seen or heard. It needs to not matter that you're not feeling seen or heard. You need to not focus on seeing or hearing. You need to focus on your skill. You need to focus on what these people have to share with you, okay? And I know it looks scary because they're chasing death, but that's because death automatically just fucking, in this lore of this card, death just kind of disregarded them as ducklings. What are they going to do? Until they band together. So have fun in the learning. It doesn't have to, things don't have to, yes, the fun police didn't come out, but it stuck out like this. It doesn't have, not everything has to be serious. It doesn't have to be, oh, that's not how you do this the best way. If you just listen and learn to how people do things, I think your clue, what you need, is hidden in the machinery of how they make their choices and how they take action. So I think if you can actually get to know these people, or this person that has that you've kind of been discounting and brushing to the wayside. Oop. Jeez Louise. Oh boy. Okay. So we've got the Barn Owl Practice and Memory Sift, which is also, it says right, and then bottom of the deck we have the Gambler. So the Gambler is a card of now is the time. It's like, and I was just talking about this movie the other day, National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation, where he's like, I put $1 and I got a car. I put $1 and I got a car. I put $1. It's that. It's just straight up timing. It's very, very auspicious for you right now. And then we've got the Jester as well, which is wheel up, wheel down. It's basically the Wheel of Fortune. But recognizing that, especially because it came out with the Gambler card, some things have lined up for you now in this space to learn this. If you can get past your issues and get past maybe kind of thinking that you have to have accolades and recommendations and stuff like that to be good at something, when in all reality, all you need is love. That's what amateur is. It's the love of doing something. You need that passion again. It's been taken away. I don't know why. I don't know if you locked it up. But with the Barn Owl and Practice here, this is efficiency. This is a card of some things are made for some things specifically, and when anything else tries to do it, they fail miserably. This Barn Owl is quiet because it needs to be. It's slow, but it's slow because it's quiet. Fucking quiet as shit, okay? Do this quietly. Practice. If you need to go through your memories and your kind of childhood issues and break those, not issues, childhood events, and break those apart and be like, well, why do I care so much about being good at something? Why do I have to be good at something to do it? And beyond that, after you find out maybe what sort of kind of happened, you can get to a point where you're like, okay, well, that you can help your inner child heal and be like, yeah, that fucking sucked, but we're grown-ups now and we can do whatever the fuck we want, and we want to do this because we love this. It's what we were made for. With this Barn Owl coming out, I think you found your calling, but you have some obstacles to get through. You have got to take into account everything else, your area around you, the people around you that you meet because of this passion. They all are connected to you or are connecting to you for a reason. Protective. So this is a card of being protective of oneself, and like, but with this I really get a vibe of like protection of others, not necessarily self. But let me pull a few more cards and see So the vow came out, and the vow is usually a warning about making grand, sweeping promises. They're very easily broken. So it might be that you're protective of a promise you made, but to what? To what end? Why? Let's see. Let's see what else comes out. 1025. Oop. Oh, the moon. Hold on. Okay, so the moon is, I had to pause and look it up because I keep forgetting. I always want to think it's a standard moon, but it's not. This moon, this card specifically, is representative of a lifeline that keeps you going through this hardship that you're dealing with. And then combined with protective in the vow, it feels like you made a, and then the ring on the bottom, it feels like you made a promise to somebody, to yourself, but notice needs to be brought to that promise. Let me see what the ring means. Hold on. So it's a standard Lenormand kind of promise, but there is a promise here. I don't know. So this protective card is a card of protection. It's a call to protect others. From what though? What are you protecting others from? You made a promise here, and then that promise is a lifeline to something. But this is a card of union, agreement, a promise. So what is this a promise for? And why are you holding on to this promise as a lifeline? This is going to have to be a part 2 because it's already 11 minutes in, and YouTube hates when I post anything longer than 10 minutes. Or not YouTube, Instagram. So what? So strength came out in reverse, and I asked what you made a promise for. And this, I think, it feels like you made a promise to somebody to not... No, I don't, that's not the feeling. To not, almost to not move on, to not change. So you had strength in reverse and changed the orange moon cat. So you made a promise to somebody to not change something. Does that promise need to be kept? Because with that vow card, it doesn't feel like it. What is this? So grains. So grains is a card of kind of reaping what you sow. It might be time for you to break this promise, but again, on the other hand, you have to be ready to let it go. You have to be ready to reap the harvest. And not necessarily that promise is a harvest, but... So, why is this? Let's see. To your parents? To your... who raised you? Who did you make a promise to? Polish your crown. Yourself? You made a promise to yourself. With that polish your crown card coming out. That might be what you have to get past. With sagesse, wisdom, straight up fucking wisdom on the bottom of the deck. And the echoing, which is an echo, not an actual remembrance. It's an echo of something that still touches you. You have made some sort of promise to yourself to not change something. And it's kind of been keeping you going through this, but you were made for whatever it is that you're keeping yourself away from these cards. And the way I feel right now, you were made for this thing. But you have promised to keep yourself away from it with this strength in reverse and change the orange moon cat. On the night of the moon came a knock at the door, a fiery gift of love. It is time for you to change this, combining fire with what's going on in LA right now, and then the grains. And I know Central California is more agricultural area, but still, I think that promise has lasted as long as it needed to, and now it's time to break it. Especially passive. So you see this card is two-sided. It's got blue on this side, and then it's got the red on this side. But I take this as a more passionate kind of in the heat of the moment. I'm never going to do it again. The time has passed. It's time for you to release that promise. If you're feeling that pull towards doing that thing again and you are purposely distracting yourself, that's kind of what it feels like after I got that promised message out. You are letting yourself be distracted on purpose because you are afraid that it is not the time to move from this and to break this promise, but it is. You have so much, there's passion, movement, action, skill, sweet pea, blissful pleasure. Not discounting those that might be able to help you, friends that touch your life. Whoop. And possibly help you carry your, okay, fine, stay out there if you want to. Possibly help you carry your burden. But there is change here. And you know it. You need to change. Okay? You have got to break that promise. Now is the time to dive head in, straight first, get lost. If you promised somebody yourself it was because you didn't want to hyperfixate, because guess what fucking card was under this Ten of Wands, which is a card of joyful burdens and knowing that you can ask not for a lighter burden, but for broader shoulders kind of vibe to it, you know what I mean? But then this, Aries, this is a card of hyperfixation straight up. And I didn't see it, didn't make any sense when I saw it earlier, so I was like, that's strange. But then I said that promise part and saw it again. Now is the time to break that promise to yourself, hyperfixate, dive in head first, find your joy, learn what you can from others. Oh, I missed so many cards in here. Let things get a little mixed up. A little bit of chaos is good, okay? Don't let yourself distract yourself, though. Now is the time. Do it. Love you.